You know where you are? You're in the 6:30 club, not the jungle. No. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. It is November 3rd. Hope everyone's feeling well. Had a great Halloween weekend. You know, it's a new month. My traders, my dogs. You know what that means? It means everyone starts out from scratch again. So what does that mean? Also, it means you got to stack days. You got to get prepared. You got to do the right decision all over again, right? Anyway, my name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Lab.com, also founder of Red Dog Mindset, and we are here to go over potential setups that can make us some money today, tomorrow. Try and stay consistent. Try and stay prepared. You can do this. I've been doing this for 25 plus years. I've been doing the 630 Club since 2020, and here we are. So hopefully everyone's feeling good. Good morning, Vincent, Blair, Option Wrap, Dish. Let's go. We got Tim in the house. We got Gary in the house. So some people like Red Dog, how long could this go? I'm like, I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm going to go week by week, month by month. All I know is that when you're above the 8 and 21 day, you try and be in a portfolio approach. When you're above the 8 and 21 day, you're not trying to short things. You're trying to be opportunistic. Not everything's created equal. But anyway, so how do we start this week? How do we start in November? Well, here we are above the 8th day. So if you look right here, as long as we hold, okay, 679, you can't get too bearish. And if you look right now at the SPYs are up 270. So hopefully, you know, you have some longs on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to do. This is SPYs are up 266. This is 684.70. So we'll see how long we stay in this upper range and then probably continue to go higher. So that's the SPYs, right? If you go real quickly on the Qs, Qs very similar, up 4. Qs have been trending along. You want to open this up a little bit, okay, and not simplify, and pretty much simplify, because you got to simplify it unless you think all of a sudden you're all this, you're so damn complicated. Anyway, this low is what? This is 625.94, which is above the gap, and here's your upper end. So what does this look like to you? Hey, doesn't this look like one of those bull flags that Red Dog posts over the weekend that we try and learn chart patterns? Anyway, with that being said, remember this day a long time ago when the Bears thought it was all over? Well, it rebuilt and went. So now what? All right. IREN is up 12. Yes, they signed the deal with Microsoft, Vincent. So my guys along a ton of IREN, a ton. This has been a great stock. It's been a newer name, right? We talk about newer names. Well, anyway, it was rebuilding. So if you were in there, you're going to get paid right now. Okay. I actually don't have any IREN. I'm feeling it a little bit. I'm fine with it though. I have a bunch of other things that I think are working. So I'm pretty happy about that. So right now it's above 66. This is your high here. IREN right now is up 13. So see what happens here into the 74 area. Everything changes as the patterns rebuild. But ultimately, I don't see any reason why anyone would have been really short in here. It's rebuilding after a big move. So congratulations if you're in that. I will say I am in BTDR, which is supposed to be like, a little bit of a baby IREN, a name that came in a little bit late. And it's looking okay. A lot of institutions that I speak to also are like, they like this for the next year. So this move is probably not over. This was 2780. If IREN's getting a deal with Microsoft and making new highs, chances are, these things are not finished. So this is just something that people don't really know of so well. I'm probably going to buy more options and go further out. I had a lot in here, and I think I'm going to run out of time. But who knows? Maybe they have their own deal and they come out with it. So I kind of think this is something for you guys to look at. If you want to talk about high beta tech right now, let's do it. So we have the earnings behind us. So you're going to hear probably today, tomorrow about how many shares Jeff sold of Amazon. Well, don't get scared by that. He's not selling Amazon because he thinks Amazon's a bad company. He's selling Amazon because him and his ex-wife own like 18% of the float, and they have to. And they always do it a day or two after earnings. That's why I said be careful buying right after. We did pretty well with options for earnings. And now what? So this is my strategy moving forward with Amazon right now, okay? So Amazon has a big gap up, from earnings. So these are, I guess, here's your 3 levels. This is, now what I do here is I make, a nice little gap. This is your gap pivot. This low here is what? 243.98. So let's put 243.98 there. 243.98. Chances are, I think there's another day of selling. He usually sells the day of earnings. I don't know if there's a filing yet. Anybody see a filing yet on Amazon? Well, anyway, what do I think happens? Well, what I'm hoping happens is that, this doesn't get too sloppy and that it kind of holds above this 242.50, which is the prior high. This is 238.50. And I would think that it's underperformed enough that once he's done selling and if the market hangs in there, this is not going to be the high of Amazon, which is 250.50. So what I'm going to do, okay, first I want to give it a day or so, let it put a real pivot in. Into weakness, I am probably going to go out and buy the 255 calls, not for this Friday, for next Friday or the Friday after. I think 11/21. Let me see something real quickly here. You don't have that. So 11/21, right? So November 21st is 3 weeks from now, right? So I'm telling you my strategy. This is what I'm doing. You don't have to do it. I tell you guys I want to make you money in the 630 club, like I make money for the Alpha team and Power Plays and all these guys. All right, so let's go. We're in November. Yeah. So November 21st, I feel like into weakness, you should be able to be giving yourself enough time to buy the 255s. And then once we get a real pivot and once Jeff's done selling, maybe you could buy the shares also. So that's my thought there. So Amazon is going to be something that I'm going to be focusing on. And once you see, Jeff files, he sold, millions of shares. People are like, oh my God, what is Jeff? No, Jeff doesn't know shit. Okay, Jeff is selling his stock to pay for his space program, and he's a pain in the ass, and he's just leaning on the stock. And sorry for the cursing because it kind of annoys me. But anyway, we'll move on. So that's Amazon. So we're gonna watch it this week. I know Tesla was a little tricky last week. It was how Tesla kind of broke below, but I did say, guys, Tesla sometimes could hold the 21 day and still be fine, and that's what happened. I don't know why I can't get rid of this little thing here. I don't want to create an anchored VWAP. Anyway, so what did it do? It held the 21 day and perked up on Friday. So I did buy Tesla back. I still have options on for 11/21 also. I still think this is a nice little cup and handle pattern. And at some point, it's going to take out 467, 470 to see 488. This was not a fun day that other day, but I think it's doing well. Like Tesla right now is looking good. Go to the weekly chart of Tesla, okay? The weekly chart, look how beautiful this is. The weekly chart looks like almost a perfect cup and handle pattern with a high level, handle here, ready to take this out. It takes this out. You want to talk robotics, you want to talk humanoids, you want to talk friggin' Elon and this and that. Well, this right here is a 488. Don't lose sight of Tesla. It is tricky at times. If you get too big, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. But I think that in the next few days, potentially it tries to go. This is 488. This high here is 470.75. I don't think you wait for that. I think you go in some and then those could be your ads if there's a catalyst out there. So to me, Tesla is high on my go-to list. Amazon high on the go-to list. And then there's different kinds of trades. Yeah, Meta's in the penalty box. First of all, let's go back to the daily chart. There's a big hole. So see how long. Sometimes it stays below this hole, which is where it is now, and then it stays in, and then that hole in the chart leads the next direction lower, or sometimes it starts to rebuild, and then there's a trade there. So you got to move things up and down the list. Tesla 510, yeah, definitely. So that's that. So anyway, Apple I think also is going to be just fine. Apple, it had a little bit of a bearish candle here, but it's also come a long way. Now their buyback machine turns on. It's above the 8 that I don't think as much is priced in here. I would think it holds this, 260. You say 265 to 267. That needs to hold. Otherwise, Apple turns into choppier and goes down the list. Right now, Apple's still on the upper end of the list. So we'll see. Apple is, really nice after hours trade. Poet's a different type of name. Listen, guys, a lot of people love a little name. So I want everybody to go out and do a lot of research on this thing. It's supposedly for the grid. It uses optics. It's, 100 times faster than the old way of cooling the grid and powering the grid. And there are a lot of friends of mine that have been accumulating a ton of this. It had to move to 9 and change. We got out of it. I've been accumulating it down here. The word is that two big investors bought blocks of stock at 7.25 right here, but they weren't institutions, so they didn't support the price. And I think at some point, November 7th, 8th, or 9th, they're going to be revealed of who got involved. And I think, they could be excited. It could be exciting. Anyway, if you want to get it cheaper than them, there. But this is not a technical play. This isn't, Amazon where you're playing versus a 243 gap and you're accumulating options. This isn't Tesla where, it's looking like it's going sideways and you're long some verse here and you're playing options through. It's a different type of name. It's an accumulate. It's that type of thing. But anyway, good morning, channel guy. Bitcoin's been very frustrating. If you play Bitcoin for October, you didn't do well. Same way if you sold in May and went away, which is what all the TV networks wanted you to do. So, you got to watch the action more than watching the calendar. The calendar lately is just kind of a shit show. Tesla shareholder meeting this week. All right. We'll see what goes there. You want me to look at is Meta broken? Yes, it is. IREN's up 12. We saw that already. Scott's the GOAT. Not true. I just work hard. Amazon made your October. That's cool. Good to hear, Vincent. What's up, Ken? Someone asked me what about Microsoft. Microsoft's also in the penalty box. Look at that. Double top 553, 555 coming in. It's just going to need time. Sometimes Microsoft's set up for nice action, and sometimes it needs time. And as of right now, it's down 4 days in a row. So I guess see how it holds is 515. This is your new point of reference there, 515. You want to talk about the Wolf? The Wolf was a great trade. I'm not in it right now. I probably should be in it, but they just did a money raise. I told you guys that the Wolf was going to go to 16 while it was down here. And what did it do? Went to 16. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And now it seems like it can go even higher. They just did a money raise, and for some reason, there's a lot of institutional money behind it. It's going really well. QS had a nice move. So there was, I guess, a lot of going around that they're going to be announcing a deal with an OEM for their hard battery technology. It isn't out yet, so it's kind of, hanging here, which is fine. This is actually a power play for us, working really well. Some guys made their entire year on this name. How crazy is that? That it's the only business where sometimes you find the name, you get to know it really well, you trade it with a tier system, use a day count rule, you understand what's happening, you can make a ton of money. Fibonacci from the Alpha team was talking about this thing here. He told me he was in tier 17, and I only have 3 tiers. Anyway, and I missed that run. I missed the whole thing. But Red Dog didn't get away from it. In here, we started to really focus on it again. And look at that move. That's awesome. Not a lot of names could do that. And, do your research here. It still looks really good. I think the word is Toyota or something else, but who knows? Bottom line is, nice piece of business. Looks really good. I think Joby looks really good. Oh, Aviation, this sector is still in play. Joby's the number one guy there, or one of them. So I'm long that. That looks good. So there's a lot of things going on. You got to figure out where you want to be involved. How can you handle it? How can you engage these names? You want to do stock? You want to do options? Make sure you don't do too much. Make sure you're not in late. Make sure you're prepared. A lot of things have to happen for you to stack days. Now, it's a new month. Everyone starts at 0. So hopefully you had a great October. I think a lot of us had a really good October, including me. I get paid quarterly, though, so I don't get a check until October. Until the end of the quarter. It was a good quarter. NVIDIA. NVIDIA's hanging here. It's up a little bit, letting the 8-day catch up. It's up $3, so it's hard to buy NVIDIA when it's up $3. But it's building. As long as NVIDIA's in the game, the market likes it. Pounds here, I feel like, you don't really need to take this into earnings. It gave you the trade. A lot of guys made a lot of money trading this breakout. And for it to give you a breakout before the number, there's no reason to be doing options into the number. Question is, are you an investor and you were holding the name? Remember this. I'm like, hey, if it could hold 186 and get through 192, you're going to see 200 plus. Well, that happened already. It happened already. So you don't need to sit in earnings, November 3rd, which is today. Kind of price for perfection. So you want to be a little careful if you're an active trader. I'm just saying there's times when something's set up really nice into the print, and sometimes it gives you the trade prior to the print, which is even better because you don't have to have the binary risk. Anyway, Everyone's trying to talk. AMD earnings tomorrow. I think AMD also had a great, move already. High Scott started last week with power plays options, and it was great start. Thanks. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, listen, I do a lot here. I have power plays, which is a product where I just tell you what to do because not a lot of people like to pick and choose what they want to do. I write a note that has 40 if then this type of plays, and if you pick 5 of the wrong ones, and or the ones that don't go yet, they say, hey, just Red Dog, you tell me what to do. And then the Alpha team is for those who trade for a living, who want to spend the entire day with me. I'm usually on the radio with them from 9:15 to about 11:30, managing my positions, finding new setups, executing on the if-thens that I put together from the morning all the way through. And this is the 6:30 Club, where I'm allowed to give you guys 20 minutes for free. And if I can make you money in 20 minutes for free, imagine what you could do if you remember the Alpha team and power plays, et cetera, et cetera. And some of you guys were saying, hey, Red Dog, why don't you do this on Fridays? I only go Monday through Thursdays. I'm like, well, I will do it on Fridays starting not this week, the next week, if I get a certain amount of Red Dog Mindset signups. So if you've been enjoying the 6:30 Club for free and you want the 6:30 Club on Fridays also, sign up for Red Dog Mindset. It's right there. Boom, $10 a month. That's 30 cents a day. And I'll start doing the 6:30 Club on Fridays, not this week, the following week. It's up to you guys. If not, just piecemeal it all together like you do. Anyway, we're not at the signups yet. SanDisk. I haven't heard SanDisk in a while. What a move in SanDisk. But hey, look at that. Do you short stocks above the 8 day, or do you try and buy them? What a move in SanDisk. Anyway, good for you. That's a great stock. Congratulations on you for being in SanDisk. Somebody asked me real quickly to look at the XBI before I go. XBI looks good. XBI has been a sector that came back in play where everyone wrote it off right around here, broke this downtrend. It's been trending higher. Some people like, hey, Red Dog, it's so overbought. I'm like, not really. If you look at the weekly chart, sometimes you got to go to the weekly chart. Look at the weekly chart on the XBI. Here's your 87. So it's in that 111 to 120 zone. This was a 124 when it broke down in 2021. Here we are in 2025. Huge base, and you guys are saying it should be done. Well, it's not shoulda, woulda, coulda. Don't tell a stock what it should be doing. Just participate based on the action. And the XBI is acting very well. So congratulations to you guys. If you're finding great names in them. At 3 o'clock today, I'm doing stocks on Twitter with like 10 guys, and they're awesome. This guy Logical and other guys, they're really good at finding individual bios and individual names where, I'm not as I'm not as sophisticated. Anyway, you want me to look at Marvell? Okay, let's look at Marvell, and then we're done. Then I got to jump before, it's like that show when they get a hook and they take me out. I could talk for hours. But anyway, MRVL. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Set up. If it holds this spot and continues to the upside, when's earnings? Oh, for a while. So yeah, this looks pretty good. ARM has been a pain, but ARM looks all right. ARM, a lot of people like Red Dog. When's ARM going to go? Look at the base in ARM. It's a sloppy trading name. What I suggest is going out and buying like the 190 calls. Go out like a month. Give yourself enough time. You're going to need some kind of news, some kind of catalyst. Other than that, it's pretty loose and wide. But it's a big base. Listen, this is in the same spot it was in June of 2024. Someone's accumulating this. Look at the weekly chart of ARM. The weekly chart looks really good. Right? Weekly chart looks like it's setting up for some kind of move above 188. So just depends on how you want to engage it. To me, I've lost a bit of money going back and forth with it. All right, guys, have a great day, great week. Just listen, trade the action. Like I said before, as long as the SPYs hold this area, it's hard to get too bearish. Everyone, for some reason, not everyone, to be honest, only some people are like, when is it going to end? This isn't going to end well. Debt, government. Anyway, as long as it holds 679, the government. Did you know the government is still shut down? Does anyone really care? It's so crazy. But anyway, 679. As long as we hold the 679 and rebuild, and stocks are acting well, you want to participate. Don't overthink it. Just have a process and a plan, and make sure you're thinking clearly so you can execute. As I said before, I've seen thousands of traders fail, not because they're not talented, but because they're not prepared. They don't do things to work on their mind so they can execute with confidence and blow off bad days and just absorb the the bumper cars of the business, because there's a lot of them in trading. It's a big time mind game. And if your mind's not strong, you're never going to make it. All right, guys. Good luck today. I'll see you later.